We live. All right. What's new in your world? Welcome to our show. We are live.
What number is this? Which
14.
14.
14.
What's special about the number 14?
I don't
Does 14
know.
have a special? Is that a special number?
Does 14 have a special number? I don't know. So episode 14. What's special about our show? About the number 14.
I see what you're in the camera.
I know. We're not gonna do that though.
Woohoo!
Haha. We's here.
Yo, yo.
Woo, by the women of pride.
Yo.
That's
I said, turn around for me one time.
I know. Chill out.
Wait. Hold on. So, public service announcement.
Whatever. Abort. What are you talking about?
So this week we talking about the women's, huh?
Oh, you're excited about that.
Yeah. I would like to hear about what y'all are talking about. One of y'all gonna be, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to go to the store and go get me a referee with a whistle or something, a whistle, in case y'all try to, penalize and a flag on the play, because y'all know y'all like to hold back.
I know. I'm about to say, I don't even want to talk about penalties. you see the game? I don't want to talk about nothing. No penalties. No nothing. Nothing.
I ain't see the game. I was where I was. Man, I don't think I saw the game. I don't know. I be all over the world, so I don't know. What do you call that? Time zone is messed up, so I don't be knowing where I be at. Tomorrow I might be in New York somewhere. I feel like I'm in Texas somewhere. Where I be traveling. Oh, we're in Dubai now. You know what I mean?
What? Man, I'm trying to get. I don't like this new thing on here. It's driving me. This Facebook thing. That's what I call it. I want to go back to the old mode. I don't like it. I don't like it. Because it don't do right. No. Hold up. What I just told you.
No.
Let's search groups.
Yeah. What is it?
Well, you need to chill out. All right, so what's new in y'all world?
You guys, the debate was ridiculous. Did you watch it?
I'll tell you one thing. America is off the ground. I said, hey, everybody.
It's a full moon tonight. Does that have anything to do with it?
Tomorrow.
We'll be like, we'll say, look, if Dennis Rodman say, look, I'm going to run for president, they're going to go after Dennis Rodman for either one of them boys. At least he's a, defense. He got a lot of defense.
Are we talking about that at all?
What?
The presidential debate. I mean,
we could start talking about the presidential debate. I mean, it was a lot for me.
Sight, you thought you were safe. We talking about the future.
Trying to run?
You were safe. We're going to get to the females, but I mean, the presidential debate. Yeah, we could talk about that. That did occur yesterday. It was hilarious to me. It felt like I was looking at, 2 5-year-olds fighting over a toy in kindergarten. And it's funny, I saw a Facebook meme that actually depicted my exact thought. So it lets me know that I wasn't the only person that thought of the same thing.
Everybody thought it.
So everybody, thought that. There were some things, I'm going to keep my political opinions to myself, but there were some statements and some facts that were made, and then there were something, I think one of my favorite parts was about when Trump I shouldn't say favorite, a highlight, was when Trump actually said that Joe Biden couldn't talk against the police reform and all the things that were going because he would lose the support from the left. So, and I was just waiting for him to counter his thought, and he never did. The far left,
that's majority of it,
and he never did.
Base right now.
Right, because that's his base. So, it's only the first one. We have, more to go through, but it was just interesting, for 2020. I don't think there hasn't or has not been any debate like the one yesterday. It's like 2020 is going to be that year to remember.
I'm gonna just say Joe Biden look like he don't have, when he be up there talking or anything he has started talking about, he really don't have no confidence what he's saying. He's just saying certain things just to get. He want people, say like just to say things, the key words for arouse people to vote for him.
He was using a lot of buzzwords, he sounded like a commercial.
Yeah, And matter of fact, I think he trying to use the Obama tactics. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't gonna work for him. Not this year.
He can't complete a sentence.
Nope.
You gotta complete sentences if you wanna.
He can't. He can't even. You're right. He can't even complete his sentences, and before he be in the middle of his sentences and jumping on to a whole nother punchline, like trying,
totally
nah.
He all over the place.
Hold on, I'll be back.
I mean, it did better. Like Kanye West took his spot, man. Kanye West probably did a little better, man.
I don't think he went there with any kind of like. I don't know if he practiced or knew exactly what he was gonna say. Because if I had to take the presidential debate and I filtered it down to like only the logical and only like fact, like I would see more coming from Trump than I would see from Biden. Biden was just like he was targeting like the emotional, you know. He wasn't targeting the logical, you know. He wasn't making much sense.
I think, and then too, I think Biden he's trying to use the old strategy, like probably like 8 years ago when Obama was in.
Yeah,
that shit, it's not gonna use that. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work this time. It's not gonna work.
It worked first because I mean Obama, you know, he could have a speech, but he also was like a black president, you know, and everybody. That's what people wanted, that more than they wanted, you know, his speech. If he was just another white guy, it wouldn't have mattered. I don't think, and not as much as it turned out.
Say, you know what? You know, I'm surprised he's not jumping for president. Or go against.
He gonna say Kanye West.
Waiting for it.
No. I'm gonna say Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been a good.
I vote for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Good stand-up.
I'll be back. I
vote for that man. Yeah, he was a governor.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, up in
I don't know.
He still is. I think he still is a governor up there in California.
He is.
No, he's not.
I don't think. Thank you, Faye. Faye said no, he's not.
What happened? He fell off?
Well, that was years ago.
Yeah, that's like he started out doing that and eventually went to something.
I was like 2 decades.
I wonder why they got rid of him, though. He wasn't doing his job?
He served his term.
Yeah.
Nah, how long a governor can stay in? As long as they want, right?
Republican. That's crazy. Of course he's a Republican.
Damn. So he might run next year, though. I don't think he wants them trouble. He don't want them trouble.
Depending on...
Background?
Yeah, the background. You know, I mean, if Trump was able to win it, I know Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to be able to win it.
He probably gave Trump a run for his money.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can't beat that. Yeah, you had The Apprentice, but this guy, Terminator, like, you can't fight
Get to
that.
the chopper. Get down. Get to the chopper. I'll be back. You know they ever try. Down where they made his Arnold Schwarzenegger, the whole Terminator whole logo for him, like he's gonna terminate the whole Donald Trump thing with all kind of shit.
I don't know. Cause he I see him with him.
Yeah, they probably had the machine and everything, half face, half Terminator. He crazy.
So, well, as far as
I'm
what's
gonna
new in
talk
my world,
you up.
and what's new in my world is I did my nails. I did them myself. You probably can't see.
Is that the one from when we were talking the other day?
Yep, that's the dip powder. They actually look like at this point, I don't have to go to the nail salon no more because I can do them myself. I can do them myself. So I guess we should get to the topic of what it really is.
I'm telling you though.
Vandal, we helped you guys last week. I'm not gonna even give myself
Oh,
credit.
oh,
Faye helped you guys
I didn't
last
know we
week
was.
by bringing a guest
I'm about to
on
say because I know
to
I know we
help,
in
and you see
Louisiana,
a
New
typical
Orleans.
man.
I ain't know we was in
You
French.
ain't even helping us.
We
You know how you do us, Faye.
we we. You know how we French now? We.
CC. That's Spanish, yes, sir. CC, yes, yes. So our show, to get on to it, is girl versus woman. Um, so this is like one of those topics, kind of like we were talking last week about the guys, which was boy versus man. So we were, I guess, to do a little small recap on that of next week. We was talking about the men and their the Peter Pan syndrome, realizing that their fantasy, I guess, for them to separate
Good
fantasy from
question.
reality.
Do the women have like a Tinkerbell syndrome?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So with women,
That's the thing?
what we have is, you got to think.
What is that?
Some women grow up having a fantasy of a particular man that they envision or they imagine, and some women have fantasies of weddings and, you know, like a princess fairy tale weddings and, you know, things like that. And as a girl, you think that all of these things are nice, but when you grow up, you know, you learn you have to separate that from your reality. Not saying that you can't have a wedding, but it's like, what I mean by that is not so much the ceremony. It's just that, you know, sometimes they go through the process of the person that they're meeting, and before them like really understanding who the person is, they like jump to marriage because they have thought about this for so long, which I guess goes to the stereotypical thing of how they say most women mature more than men, or women are ready to get married more than a man, you know, would be ready for marriage. And that's because, you know, I'm not gonna say you grow up about it, but think about it. We have Barbie dolls, and, you know, we have Barbie dolls and Ken dolls. And what did you do with your Barbie doll and your Ken doll? You took your Barbie doll, you dressed her up, then you bought Ken, and you made sure that, you know, you were playing house with Barbies and Ken dolls. Like, you know, so I would say that is one of the things. I have high CPU usage. How is that possible? But, you know, so that's one of the things. So I guess if you want to call it the Tinkerbell syndrome, then you can call it that. I think it's kind of the same. It's different, yet it's somewhat the same for a man versus a woman. And it depends on our. Oh, who's on me? Oh, you
I
first.
just had to chill.
It depends on your childhood. You know, like for me, I grew up, you know, with my mother, a single parent home. I knew my father, but my mother was more influential in my raising. And of course, for her, it was a little bit easy because she had, you know, girls to raise. I didn't so much grow up, you know, wanting to get married per se, but I don't think it really hit me, the responsibility from moving from being that girl to going into, you know, being a woman until like I literally moved out on my own. And I guess I was hit with so much responsibility. I think for me, my pivotal or my turning point was my firstborn. So not when I moved out, not when I got married, not even while I was pregnant. It was the day he was born, and I actually held him, and I'm like, okay, it's on. Like all the little things that I thought I have to get my stuff together, you know, to make sure that I'm able to take care of this little helpless infant. That was my turning point of when I realized I had to mature. Even if I even the things that I've done, you would say that I was mature, but no, like I had to make sure my finances were straight. I had to make sure I learned how to balance my checkbook. I had to make sure that I just didn't go to the store without balancing my checkbook and, you know, things like that, because I had somebody else to depend on. I really wasn't thinking of business ventures at that time. That took like some time later on in my life. But all of that to say is it's the foundation that I was built on. You know, my mother is a very, very strong woman. She raised both of us. We didn't have to want for anything. We had the things we desired, and she taught us how to really work hard. She stressed education for us to make sure that we go to college and that we do, something with our lives. So, I came from good seed. Not saying I'm perfect or that it was perfect, but that kind of was, my reality. Do all women wake up? No. Just like, most men don't. I have a few friends that I know that still have to get out of that. And I think I'm just kind of going off the topic. I think for women, it's very important for them to have a father figure in their life, kind of like we tipped on like last week about having a man, and that a man can teach a boy, things that his mother can't teach. It's the same thing with the woman, with the girl. Like even though my mother did a great job in raising my sister and I, there's just some things that she could not teach us, even if she tried. Like there are things that my father needed to teach me, needed to show me, what a man really should be, like the type of man for me that I should seek. I had to learn that the hard way. And when I say the hard way, I mean the hard way. It wasn't easy, and it's like at my age, I finally know how a man should treat, a woman. But that's like me now. Like if I would have known this in my 20s, I probably wouldn't have made most of the mistakes that I made. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion. What you got to say, Faye? I said a lot.
Well, oh no, that's cool. I liked it. Yeah, my childhood background is very complicated, and actually, I would say that it was really difficult. So I want to say that for a lot of my life, like I raised myself. I had family members around me, but it was just really, really tough to, get through all of it. My mom wasn't really around. She pretty much left me and my two brothers when I was only like 7 or something. She wasn't even around at that time, and sure that the grandchildren, all the children had nannies. So that was just the kind of culture that I came from. And so my dad was around. He became like the single breadwinner there for a little bit. We did have a female figure in our lives, but she wasn't quite my stepmother yet. And so it helped that she was around, but she was younger, and it was just, I didn't really have like a mother figure. I loved my dad when I was growing up. Like he was amazing. And then my mom decided to come back into our lives. I was like 12. And at that point, I was already really uncomfortable at home a lot. My older sibling and I, we got along, but then he was just going through a lot of personal issues, which he came out later on. And it like psychologically, it was a very, very tough time. So I was really, I had that Tinkerbell syndrome for a long time because I just wanted to not have to feel any kind of psychological trauma that I had from my childhood. And I, like you, Monique, when I finally just like grounded my feet on the ground and like really showed myself my potential of like, being able to focus and be patient and have the direction and not be distracted and not allow distraction in my life. And I mean, usually it was relationship or a lot of it was relationship, because I was always like looking for love that I was missing in my childhood for a long time. And then of course, you know, I mean, my son has given me so much. He's been such a gift. I mean, it was like he just pretty much fast tracked my growth in terms of my self-love, and like I said, going back to being able to like ground myself and basically snap out of the Tinkerbell syndrome, you know, that I didn't have to like, because I was always like looking for love to ride on my addictive behavior, because addictive behavior came from all of wanting to mask that pain, you know. And it was like, I mean, I was pretty lucky, you know, like I didn't get into anything heavy, you know, or anything like that, but you know, you want substance and relationship, and I mean, all of those things are forms of addiction. Addiction basically is something like when you just keep doing the same thing. I mean, you change, but then it's like it's still there, and it's like this deep-seated, there's something, it's a deep-seated pain that is there that needs to be settled with yourself, you know, and that is the self-love. So yeah, my situation is, I mean, we almost don't even really need anyone to come on, because I think that my story and your story are very contrasting, which is interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because like, and I know that, you know, like looking at my friends, you know, people I've known over the years, you know, like what the real difference is when you have a parental figure in your life versus when you go through life and really experiencing it on your own, which, I mean, it's made me strong, but I'm not going to put my son through that. There's no fucking way, you know, like, I'm going to be his guide, and I'm going to give him the liberty, but like, you know, my mother didn't really give me any boundaries, you know, she didn't really know how to be a parent, you know, like, it just wasn't her thing. And, again, it's just, but, you know, I mean, I still talk to her, really, still, you know, I love her. I have love for her, you know, like, but there's always just kind of like this weird, and I forgive her, but a family member, you know, wasn't there, or doesn't have the wherewithal or something, you know, and it's just, you know, this level of compassion that I have even just recently have gained to develop more of, you know, in humans. Because, you know, you see their essence, but and you just, you know, that's part of being patient, you know, especially with family members. I mean, I don't know if I would have that patience for a stranger who was like, you know, being mean or yelling at me or whatever, but you know, there's different kinds of people that we deal with in our lives, right? So yeah, it really is a contrast, and I've just learned to just, you know, love myself and to accept, you know, who I am, and like the experiences that I've had and the mistakes that I've made, you know, and like I've made mistakes, you know, more than once, twice, maybe like 3 times, you know, and it's like now I'm super, because I'm focused and clear. I've got my son, you know, he gave me that same gift that, you know, Majid did to you when you first like held him. Like, I don't allow myself to sink in any direction that is gonna waste time. I want to say I'm like not harder on myself, but just like there's no excuses. Like before, I used to make a lot of excuses for myself, you know. But it was very, yeah, it was just hard. I think
You're more strong and passionate about certain things now, you know what I'm saying? So like a lot of things that happen in life, it makes you more wiser and stronger. So, and then too, when you look in your son's eyes, you give him that, you know, that he give you that mindset to be like, you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna let nothing happen to him in a way to, you know, for somebody to hurt him the same way whatever you went through, you know what I'm saying? But that's not what you're really saying. You're really saying that, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna give him the world, meaning, things that you always wanted when you was a kid. So whatever it was, you gonna make sure he get there. So no matter what it is, no, you're gonna take no for no, and you're gonna take no for an answer. You know what I'm saying? So and at the same time, you're gonna straight lead by example by any means necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because it's in your heart, because you went through so much pain that guess what? You about to deliver for your son. You about to deliver. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is.
Yeah, and it's also, being able to, I've been able to develop the strength to kind of like deal with discomfort in a way, and kind of, pain, psychological and emotional pain, whatever. And I don't, I'm really upfront about things now, and if people don't like it, especially my family members, if they don't like it, then too bad. I used to hold back because there was that fear of like, losing somebody and not feeling loved and all of that. And it's just like, now, if you don't like what I say, if we're not going to have a conversation, if the conversation is going to be a one-way street, then we don't need to relate. And if you want to pull over to the side, that's your thing. But I'm right here, I'm present. And if you don't want to acknowledge that, then we don't need to talk. You know what I'm saying? So, I had that recently. And with a very close relative, family member.
So pretty much you coming over.
It's like we all have the world. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to believe that. And there's certainly, my experiences have it's concreted a lot of inner strength for me to be able to, like right now, it's like pretty tough times, but I know I'm going to get through it. I'm determined, and a lot of times, like, I think that this type of aloneness that I'm experiencing in this time of my life, I would not have been able to fathom this, like 5 years ago, but I feel like I can do it, like I don't need a man. If someone doesn't want to, like, if I'm the only one who can back up, how I feel, my opinion about things and whatever, I'm like, cool. I don't need anybody else to approve of like what, I see or feel and whatnot. Like is mine. So I feel empowered. So and my has that like majorly. And kids are amazing, man. It's just,
They are.
It's a cliche.
Grow, to be honest.
They do, really do. But and I say to people, hear it all the time, like children change your lives, but it's actually not true because children don't always change people's lives.
That's true.
It doesn't. Like people, yeah, man, I have seen it. I've seen it, in this past 10 years, a little child, and it's like parents were still, hanging out with the wrong people, trying to do the same things, like, and it just didn't change their lives until they had to like remove themselves from where they were at and then really made the changes. But that was like, gosh, 7-8 years in with the child, you know what I'm saying? So it's not really a cliche.
I just go back with that, I know your values, everybody, all walks of earth, So you just gotta know your values and shit. Like you said, some people that have kids, that shit still don't change them. They still won't go out here and do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Men and women, you know what I'm saying? Because they still don't have, what they want. You know what I'm saying? They still don't have they don't have a value. They don't have, you know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much, by the time they wake up, their kids gonna be probably like, maybe 17, at 25 years old until they realize that they gotta get their life together. And by then it's been like, I don't say it's too late for them to, you know, to raise their kids, yes, but for as they self know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, some things you just gotta, I don't know. I mean, and then too, it just goes back wherever how he was living when he was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Some things they might have so much pressure on them when they were younger from a kid from their mother that they had so much responsibility at young age. When they get older, shit, they want to go out here and party. You know what I'm saying? And they don't worry about responsibility. You know, you know, that's just what it is. So yeah, so man, that's just that. Listen, what is that over there?
Yeah, and it, you know, in real, it all really comes, you know, it comes from the household, you know, like.
What differences do you see between you and the people that you know for sure have been parented correctly?
Parented with love and presence.
Yeah, right, yes.
You know, they just have a certain, you know, carry themselves a certain amount of self-worth. You know,
they seem whole to you? They seem like a wholly built human being. Yeah,
like they have their senses are intact. You know,
right? Like everything seems to be exactly where it's at. There's no. Real. Yeah, they have everybody has their problems, but they seem to know exactly how to deal with it. You know? Yeah. They do.
One example, like I have a son. I'm his biological mother, and I was really young when I had him. But the parents that adopted him, you know, it was always like an open thing, and so in my life, all my life, and that was such a remarkable lesson for me to see his evolution, because, you know, here were these two people that just really wanted to be parents. They thought they couldn't have kids. And then, you know, after they adopted my son, like later on, they found she got pregnant, like, I think just within a year. And so I've seen him grow up. And even now, I mean, he's, you know, he's like in his late 20s now. And just the way he deals with his issues, you know, and just like what he's done, you know, and he's very much himself. He stays authentic. You know, he's still, of course, for, you know, someone who's in their late 20s, they're still exploring their life and all of that. I don't think that ever stops, and I don't think it should ever stop. You know, I think we should always.
Seems, you know, he has his troubles, but it seems like, you know, he's able to get out of it. Like, he doesn't seem like.
He's so much more grounded than I was when I was his age. Right. Like, even just through all the way through his teens, and then like the beginning of his 20s, like, I just, you know, I'm like, he's so much like me, but with like his head on his shoulders. And that was what I didn't have, that because I was going through so much, like, you know, psychological childhood trauma from all of these different things that were missing and that were inflicted, you know, during those times, that it was just harder to navigate through my life and to really sit through things, you know, with real focus, you know? So, you know, and he's just had the ability to do that. And I just love it so much, you know, like that is, you know, that is like a part of me that is just beautiful, because, you know, like he grew up in an incredible household, you know, with two people who loved him, and then he, you know, grew up with siblings and all of that. So it was amazing. It was just a good reflection, man. You know what I'm saying? So that is, I mean, that's one, I can't give it to you any more than that, you know, just be.
Yeah.
So wherever whatever that try to break you, that it made you who you are today.
What's that? What's that?
I said, whatever that try to break you, it made you who you are today.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it had to. It's like I just think that was, in the time that I was born, and the way things were then, it's just it was inevitable. I think it was inevitable for any of us that were born at a certain time, and society was like the way it was. But some of us have made it, and we've made it through strong, and we still are going strong, and then some people haven't, and then some people are kind of just like they're in the middle and still healing.
So I have a question. I have a question for both of the ladies. Like, you have some young ladies out
I'm
there.
here. I'm submitting homework. Sorry.
You have some young ladies out there that's they have kids and stuff like that, right?
Okay.
And they went through the same thing, like y'all went through. What is the message y'all have for them as out there is going through basically the same thing? Because ain't nothing new under the sun.
I completely missed that. It went out on me. Sorry.
Okay.
You said it's something that's new under the sun, and that's where I went blank.
I was like, ain't nothing new under the sun. So I was like, what kind of message you have for the young ladies out there that do have kids?
So like children at a young age?
What to do right now, because they have it hard right now. You know what I'm saying? What kind of message would you deliver to them to make it a little better for them to understand what they are going through?
So, for me, for me, it may be a little bit different, but God is number one for me. So, if there was somebody that was trying to struggle, what I would tell them is it comes from me. Like there was a moment or a point in my life where I had to muster up, find the strength within myself in the midst when I was broken, and I had to take myself and 2 children and figure out life and survive. And all I can say is God is really strength like any other, like no other. There's just no, and even in the midst of that, I still had other trials and tribulations where I knew what I had to do, and I really didn't feel like doing it. And even though I did it before in my past, knowing that in my present I had to do it again was so frustrating, but it was even more difficult. And to go through it again, and I'm gonna use it as one of the most difficult times in my life. To where it's not just you have your children, and it's like you have to be strong for your children, and you can't really show them too much of your own weakness as a parent, because you're teaching them to to be strong. But for me, and I guess let's just put it to this point that the person has no family or anything to go to, because it's a little different for me. I had family to go to, but I chose not to. I was one of those individuals where I can go through something and you never know I'm going through it, because I would hold it in. And I didn't until literally in my mid-30s was when I started to speak up and speak my feelings, because other than that, I would hold on, and it hurt, but it made me strong at the same time. And almost it could be a little bit too independent, because if I go through certain situations, I try to get through them myself. But going back to what we're talking about, because I digressed, is God is my foundation. I can't do any of this, anything without God, and this is for me. You know, it's not, you know, I can't push, you know, Christianity or God on anybody. But for someone like that where you don't know where to go, one, I would say to pray. Two, if you have family, talk to your family, you know, or talk to someone. If you have a close friend, talk to somebody. Wisdom is the bomb. Well, you know other people, and it's like you might find like-minded people that go through, that are going through or have gone through. And it's like when I went through my situation, I prayed and I asked God to send his people to me to help me, and sure enough, every person he sent was somebody that was influential. I kid you not, and that these people, I never knew them, and they came in my life at the right time to help me to move past that particular situation. You know, I'm a mother of a single mother of 4 boys, and I guarantee you, my roadmap. I didn't plan to have 4 kids, but I love my children. They are the bomb to me, and I kid you not, I did not know how difficult, you know, life could really be. You know, and it's like it's a very humbling experience. So when I talk about, like, I know how hard it is. I mean, versus struggle, versus heartache, versus, you know, putting yourself in situations that you know you shouldn't have put yourself in. Like, you know, I've been through enough to know, to be able to tell somebody, to help somebody. You know, without getting too personal and telling y'all all my business, you know. But I've been through. And I mean, going through, like, when I know, one of my stepmom told me, in order to spell through, you have to spell rough. And she was like, that as you go through, it's going to be rough. But of course, you know, once you get on the other side, it'll be great. But it's just that part, just the going through part. It's just, it's difficult. Some people make it, some people don't. Like, you know, it's just, it's not easy. Some people just give up. You know, and if you knew my track record, if you know me and you knew what I've gone through, some people, when they hear my story, they're like, man, like, and you still moving? And you still rolling? And you still going? Yes, I am. Because it's like, I know I fall. Sometimes I fall deeper than falling. Like, I'm in the ground. But I build myself and I know how to get up. I know where my strength comes from. I know who I am. I know whose I am. So, and that's how I can keep moving forward. When I look at my boys and like how much fun we have, and you know, I'm a goofball, and it's like when I clown with them, and like sometimes I just sit back because each and every one of them are a piece of me. They have a piece of my personality, and they all have 4 different personalities. And I'm like, okay, that's me, that's me, that's me. It's like your children, they, yeah, they embody you, but at the same time, like, they push you to go forward. So for that person that's struggling, look at your children for motivation too. You know, and keep on moving. You know, don't give up. Just keep moving, keep moving. Life, I promise you, gets better. It gets better. It gets better. Take every lesson in every situation, every time, or if any time like you've fallen, learn from it. When a person shows you who they are, believe it. Believe them. Believe them. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, learn from that mistake, learn from that situation, learn from that circumstance, whatever it is, learn from it, and don't repeat it. You want to see different results, do it differently. So that's my 2 cents. Okay, that's my 3 cents. You're trying to ask us tough questions, boy. What you trying to ask us tough questions for?
You know, hey, well, I'm waiting on Faye to answer too. She trying to slide through it, man. Like Michael Jackson, somebody trying to do the moonwalk out the back door. Answer it. Well, I'm waiting.
It's interesting though how we come from 2 different backgrounds though, because my mom, she instilled in us to be strong, independent women. Don't count on nobody but yourself. Do what you gotta do. Make sure you get your education. Make sure you have your career. Make sure, and it's like, and in my life, because she taught us that. I mean, I've done just that. You gotta hold it up. Sorry, we're submitting homework. That's too far up. But I mean, I'm sorry. Wait, not to talk about, bro. Go ahead, Faye. Cause this dude.
Wait, hold on. I have another question for Faye, because you know,
are we gonna try? be a different question for me.
Because it's still the same thing
Okay,
with
that's cool.
Monique saying, but it's most of okay. How to be a young lady out here on the streets, like meaning, to carry yourself. How do you carry yourself to risk? Do you want somebody else to respect you as a young lady?
Well, first of all, I mean, like for me, it's that comes with being able to be with yourself, because that's where it all starts.
Yes.
And if you don't know how to be with yourself and see all of like who you are, how you are, all your imperfections, be able to look at yourself in the mirror and acknowledge, where your shortcomings are and the things that are not benefiting you that you are doing at that time. You know what I'm saying? All those kind of things that I avoided before that I've really been doing now has given me the more inner strength and has developed so much self-love that my standards for like a partner right now or anything is just like, I don't want to settle, and I don't want to have anything less than like what it is that I want exactly for myself, and I think that, self-respect comes from being able to love yourself, and when you love yourself through all loving yourself is being unconditional with yourself,
That's right.
I mean, there's like enabling your behavior, which is not self-love, because you can totally make excuses for that. And then you're just manipulating yourself. And then you try to perhaps find other people to, affirm that manipulation. But then those people aren't going to be influential for you. It's going to be bad. You got to be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's authenticity. That's part of being authentic with yourself. You're authentic with yourself. You can be authentic with everyone else. And then that vibe is going to attract, beautiful people in your life, the right people, and they'll just be in alignment, you know what I'm saying, with what you're doing at that time. Because when you're focused and you're in tune with yourself, everything is just going in this direction. It's in divine order. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter what religion, like I don't really practice any kind of religion. My spirituality comes from like the cosmos, basically, like my connection with like the universe and everything, that's kind of like how I view godliness, that I'm connected to all those things and I bring value in this entire universe, just like everyone else of you, each and every one of you do, and I can say that now, with like strength and confidence, because I've been able to really work on the self-love, so to walk around and be a lady and be in your energy, those are the kind of things that you have to be able to face up with yourself.
Yeah.
So.
And I think at that point, that's when you become a woman. And it's not easy. It's not easy to do. It's really not easy to do. And it's like, even in my 40s is literally when I started to develop like self-love. And 40, you know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things, you think you know yourself, but you really don't. And it's like for me, I had to go through a situation to kind of realize, okay, you're doing this all wrong. Like you have to value yourself first. Like if you can't respect and love yourself first, then how you're not going to attract that type of person, or how can you expect family members, friends, or anybody else to treat you the same way if you're not even, treating yourself that way? And it's like, I know men, I've read a meme like on Facebook, how they always talking about women, always talking about self-love. But It's like it's not just for women either.
I don't think people know what that means.
It's for men too. It's not just for women. It's like when you really love yourself, not to put, you know, anything before you. Like it's okay. Some people like they call it being conceited. Oh, you love yourself too much. No, you're supposed to. You're supposed to. It's like if you don't love yourself, how can you expect to love somebody else? Why are you mixing them together, bro? If you don't love yourself, you know, how can you expect to love somebody else? And not just a partner, a child, you know, a relative. It's like anybody. How do you expect to love them if you don't love you first? You know, you have to be comfortable with being by yourself because that's where you're going to discover yourself. If you constantly have somebody, you know, in your face with you and you can't focus on you, and we're not talking about me time, you know, reading a book and doing all of this. No. Like that, those hard, tough times when you really want somebody to be there and you are by yourself, those times, that's when it counts. Yeah. It's so easy to run to the next person and forget, you know, to run to the next person to kind of ease off of what you're going through and kind of, you know, feed off the other person's energy. But it's like you're hoarding your own energy. And at some point, you got to face it. Like, would you say Michael Jackson, A Man in the Mirror? Did we say that last week?
Yeah.
You got to face the woman in the mirror, too. You know?
Yes.
So I just thought that was funny when I saw that. But good points, Faith. Really, really good points. Because that is so true.
You too, sister.
So all right. Do you think is it a woman trait to be able to know how to cook, to be able to, is that, I'm trying to get this good, you know, if that's true.
Hold on.
I just want to, right now, that is an everyone trait. Okay? It's an trait.
Wait, we ain't talking about no bologna and ham and cheese, and you put it together, and you talk about that's just meal right there, you know what I'm saying?
Why are you talking, wait, hold up. What does girl versus woman have to do with cooking? I guess if she can't cook.
I think what he's trying to do.
Because you got so. Go ahead, my G.
I don't think he's trying to be, because I know the route you're going. I don't think he's trying to be sexist. I don't think what he's trying to get at. It's just there's a certain. I don't want to say it's a role. Yeah, I don't want to say it's a role. There's a reason it worked, because we've done this, like it's been done before. Like the times were, I don't want to say times were better, but times were
better.
Okay. You know, like there was when men and women were able
bread
to.
Was $2.
That's all.
Yeah.
When gas was 99 cents a gallon.
When men and women, especially like when starting a family, were able to come together in a cohesive manner, and there wasn't really, you know, there was God over man and man over wife and wife over children. There was like a really simple chain, right? Now it's like things are kind of all over the place. You know, you
got women. You just got today women that's out here today. I ain't gonna say all of them, but some of them.
You do. You have some women who want to act like men because
you come home a hard day of work. You know what I'm saying? And you be like, I'm hungry, and they just come and give you a whole bowl of, you know, Chinese noodles and say, "Here you go, your meal." Like you be looking at,
hey,
what the hell is this?
But you ate though, right?
Leave.
Hey, matter of fact, you're right. Okay. Just take it. No, don't worry about putting your shoes on. Leave your shoes right there. Walk out down the run.
You ain't though. I think I think it's just a part of. I don't think that has to do with a woman or a man, or you know, like
no, it don't.
It's not just women that should be in the kitchen.
It goes vice versa.
It should be both. Like especially like one, if you get in an apartment and you move by yourself, either you're gonna spend a lot of money on takeout food, or either you're gonna learn how to cook.
I got 60.
Right. Yep.
You know, you're gonna learn how to cook. So technically, what the way it should or it should go is that you do move on your own, and you learn how to live with your dang on self before you move in with somebody else. before you move in with somebody else. That way you'll learn how to cook for yourself. And if you're blessed to have that job where you can splurge, go ahead and splurge. But it's really helpful that if you stay at home and cook for yourself. And I think it's like, and then once you grow and you mature and you decide that you want to be married, or if not married, if you want to shack up with somebody, whatever you choose, that you both should be able to come into the kitchen together, especially if you have children involved. You got to cook, you got to feed children. And it's like cooking is not a hard skill to learn.
Well,
you just have to want to learn it. I mean, it's there on the internet.
Yeah, we ain't talking about no microwave meals that you put in the microwave and you're trying to serve it. They have no reason.
What's more important about is not the climax of his story, but the beginning of his story.
Okay.
Like,
what you mean?
How you started out with him coming home from a hard days of work, and it ended with him with a bowl of noodles, right? So you see where the disconnect is.
No,
it's like, oh, okay. So
did she work too? Well, you didn't.
Yeah.
Did she go to work too?
He's thinking
all the
time.
Or is she at home not working?
Yeah, that's what he's thinking about. Because someone.
Yeah, she at home. She's at home. She's at home. And she give you a bowl. She give you a bowl of noodles. I tell these noodles. That's showing your value. How far is she value? You know what I'm saying?
Still got some of them old school things going on there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Old school.
It's really. It's back
in which.
That goes.
I mean.
In the type of woman you chose.
It could still. Yeah. See, that's the thing.
Did you really evaluate? Did you really get to take your time? Don't do that. Did you really take the time to get, these are the preliminary questions you should ask in the beginning.
I think she don't appreciate you if that's the case. If she gave you a bowl of noodles.
But maybe that was her best.
I see the best.
Maybe that was her best.
That was my best. What you mean it's your best? You could just, it's easy to kick. You just go on the internet.
I mean, maybe that's her best.
Said.
I mean.
That's what you just said.
I did, but we talking about her. I know how to cook. I feed y'all.
Oh.
I do.
Okay.
What?
That's what I'm saying. All right. So what you're saying is,
I didn't cook today.
You know what I'm saying? And
I ain't gonna cook tomorrow either.
Like, because I went out to eat, but
they didn't. I was supposed to order pizza, but it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, she could have. That's what I'm saying. Like, she could have did that.
But you don't want pizza? Where he go?
Like,
you don't want pizza, Bando? She can fix your pizza. Hey, them noodles be good.
No, that's the you might as well.
How he start a conversation and run? Typical.
I know.
Like I said, though, I ain't really with all that right there in the next beginning, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to just say, hey. If you're going to fix noodles, at least, you know what I'm saying, have some crackers on the side, you know what I'm saying, and then walk a swamp,
Because you wouldn't want me to bring, okay, all right, so when if I have a
we ain't talking about me.
No! If I have a chick and I bring out, tell her come over, I want, and I show, and it's like, it's,
at your place.
Right. We sit down at the table, and I got one of those things where it's like the dome, and I raise it up.
I'm sorry.
I got one of the things where it's like, it's a dome over the food. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, yeah.
And I raise it up, and
gourmet
it's noodles.
food. Hey.
You okay with that?
Look at
it's food.
That's what you tell them? Okay. That's a
so
lot.
in other words, you're telling me if
That's
I'm okay with going to McDonald's versus Fleming.
Exactly. That's what it is. It's like
that depends how long I know you.
You bring me the meal based on you know what I'm saying? Based on how you feel about it.
Bando.
Good job.
Yeah,
Bando trying to start some ish. Look at him.
Weird,
it's dang on October. It's Halloween. It's not Christmas.
I'm just saying though, look, like a man though, if you don't come and you expect a man, or a woman to work, you know what I'm saying? I think you should be able to get a man and a woman some type of validation that you can have some good food for them, you know?
It's like a.
Yeah.
This is a
If that's the right correct word I use, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the old saying, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Well, the same
Thank you. There you go.
That's
There
And
you go.
it
woman
does
as
change. It really does.
because I love, okay, because I've got men in my life who can cook, and they're my family members.
I'm gonna make you a question.
I'm
Now,
saying,
now,
His own
if a
food.
man, now, if a man,
I
hey,
mean, you would want to know how to cook, because if you make a man,
Hey.
just like a
Hey,
way to the
hey,
heart
look.
is through your stomach. I mean, hey.
hey,
A girl
hey, so
girlfriend.
if a man cook for a woman, is that a way to a woman's heart too, as well?
I mean, I love food, so
It's a
hell yeah.
plus. It's,
Probably.
yeah, I think for me,
Probably.
I can only speak for me, but
If you
look
know
what
how
you're
to.
doing.
Oh my.
Pick all of that up. You're doing too much.
I mean, it can't be the only thing, you know what I'm saying? Because then it's like, if there's a whole bunch of other things missing, you know, then we'd be like, okay, well, I hope we could just
Well,
still,
I tell you,
we'd be friends and, you know, just appreciate each other in other ways if it just can't work out, you know? Because I just try.
if she can,
I
if she
think it's
can,
important. If you're dating, maybe you could work on it, and you could teach them how to cook, and yeah, you know that's a great bonding mechenism.
But nobody
in a
is
relationship.
that bad. Like nobody's like all I can make is noodles. You've been eating noodles for like the majority of your life. What is wrong with you? No, you've been eating like you know how to make something. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said,
You know how to make something. You
Like I
weren't
said-
eating noodles for the rest. Like
I
come on.
said, during the dating phase,
Dang.
you should make sure
A steak is
that
not that hard.
you should make sure
Just put it on the
if
grill.
this is the type of person you want, and you want the man to help be able to cook. I find that very attractive for me, and I do desire a man that can cook, because you know you have a large family, and it's like I'm working, he's working, and then that means when I get off to work, I have to also cook all the time. I mean, it helps to balance it out. Not that I don't mind
That's what I'm
cooking,
saying,
but
yeah.
there has to be a balance. Like I can't go to work and you go to work full time. You come home, you comfortable, you lounging around while I'm in the kitchen slaving. And then, you know what I'm saying? It's like, if I'm in the kitchen, you should be taking care of
'Cause
your
it
kids.
isn't
Or
so
vice
much
versa,
like-
or we're both in the kitchen helping out. I mean, I think it's teamwork.
Yeah.
So, if the person doesn't know
Well-
how to cook,
Because it isn't so much like, oh yeah, you gotta come, you know, go. It isn't like, make me a sandwich type thing. It isn't like, oh, you're the female, you gotta do what I say, blah, blah, blah. I think the narrative's been twisted somewhere down the line. It's more like, does she care enough for me to give me something to eat that, like, is enjoyable? Or does she
Okay.
care enough for the family to feed them something to eat that is enjoyable?
but that go vice
That's what that
versa.
shows.
Does he
No,
care too?
yeah, he could do the same thing. I
But
mean,
you
he
know-
just went to work. In his scenario,
So-
he just came home from work
so
with
le-
money. That you
so
can
let's
use
go-
to buy things. So
Let's go with the Captain of Jackson and Michael Jackson when Joe Jackson got off of work and they was in that kitchen, you know what I'm saying, breaking up them peas and the daughter, and they make the good nice food sitting around the table. They ain't make no damn noodles for him. He was working at the
What
hard work
girl
yard,
messed
you know
you
what
up
I'm
with the
saying?
noodles? I'm gonna have to go talk to her, because
Exactly.
she messed you up big time.
So you agree?
I'm just saying though, you know, hey, because they got a lot of men and women out there that do that, you know, they go out there and say I can cook and then pull out some damn shit out the damn refrigerator.
It's
They
2020.
want to sit it
dog.
and put it
There's
in
no
the
excuse
microwave.
to be like, I don't know how to. Like you can't.
They
say
got
that.
people out there that I'm not gonna say they don't know how to. They know a
what
few
I'm
things,
saying?
some
Like,
rice,
you know how to, like,
noodles.
cook chicken. Like it's not that
Chicken.
hard. Like heat element, put it on there.
Well, you gotta know how to
That's
season.
it.
Everybody don't season well.
Shit.
Everyone, that's subjective though. That you can
You-
teach somebody. Like,
Well, what if
oh, I
they don't
like
want
my
you to
stuff
teach them? They feel like they know how to do
Oh,
it.
that's a personality issue. If they don't want you to teach them how to cook, there's other things that they don't
I don't
want
want
you
to
to
teach
them
nobody how to cook.
So
You gotta
that's-
come with
that's
these
a
skills.
stubborn
If you filling
person.
out my application for this position, I'm gonna need you to know how to do. This is one of those things that has to have experience on the application. I'm gonna need you to have this under your belt, and I'm gonna need at least 5 or more years experience. Okay?
Well, listen. We live in 2020 right now. You can go
We should
how to
talk
cook,
about that
man.
next
Come
year.
on now. YouTube got every knowledge and everything ingredient out there. So if you don't know how to use YouTube,
like,
something wrong with you.
I'm subscribed
You
to
know what I'm
Gordon
saying?
Ramsay's YouTube channel. Like, you can't
Gordon Ramsay,
say
right?
that exactly. Like, you can't say that in what olden times. Like,
Yeah, I mean, oh shit.
Like,
I mean, back then you could use it and say you don't know how to cook back then, but now we live
yeah,
in
back then you
2020.
could say,
Shit,
"Oh, I don't
ain't no
know,"
way.
because knowledge was scarce.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like
Yeah.
chefs. You can come on.
I know.
You can get in touch with like anyone.
So, yo, look, let me ask you. So let me ask you a question then. So if a man don't know how to cook, if he don't know how to cook, what the man need to know how to do?
He need to know how to cook. He
For
need to
sure.
know how to cook.
You know,
I know, right?
Like
That's what I'm saying. Is that an
being-
innuendo? I don't know how to answer that question.
Is that like-
So I'm not gonna really. That's why I said he has to know how to
what
cook.
you said.
Oh, what I said?
And you said he gotta know how to cook.
Yeah, because that's no if and buts about it. Like, I'm gonna need you to know how to cook. Like, if you're coming into my life at this moment,
Well,
you know,
what are
I
you
have
gonna
4
do for
children.
him?
I know how to cook.
Do it,
I'm a
bro.
cook for him. Basically, I'm a cater to him. That's how it's. I'm a nurturer. When I cook food, I serve you. So he gonna get the full blown thing. So, but I need him to cook.
Okay, like if a man wants some Jello, do you know how to cook some Jello? Not no Jello pudding, some Jello. Cut some fruit out.
That's real. Like you
Some
went through
fruit
something.
out.
You've been through some things. They didn't know how to pick the poor baby. They didn't know how to do the jello. The
Make
jello
some,
in the box.
if you're not make Jello,
put it in the refrigerator and have some fruit.
if you're not make Jello, if you're not make Jello with some fruit cocktails in it, I want it.
oh my God. For that is so old
I'm
school.
gonna need you to bring your
That's
standards
the
up.
thing. That's the thing.
That's
That's
all you want
usually
is
a
some
man's
Jell-O.
standards.
What
It's
about
just
the
like,
pudding? You want the pudding too?
That's it's usually. That's
I don't want
usually
no
a man's
porter. I
standards.
don't want no
Just
porter
don't
Jello
cook
porter. No.
noodles.
Whatever.
And be able to make pudding.
I think, well, if a man
Like-
has that, I think what the man should do is, before you get to that point and it gets serious, you should make sure that she fills out the right parts in the application, the criteria, which means you should interview. That's why you date. You collect data. All right?
So, okay,
data.
we
The most
all right, when you
difficult
date-
questions you need,
so, okay,
you need to ask about credit score.
so-
You need
so-
to ask
so- so-
about longevity on your job. You need to ask about their childhood, ask
That's
how
good.
the relationship is with their mother, with their father, with their siblings. You need to ask them the last 4 digits of their social. No, I'm just joking. But you need to ask them if they know how to cook. I mean,
Get your own
are they
bank
great
account.
with bills?
You need to.
You collect data.
So-
Ask those difficult questions.
So you saying when you go to a date and you go to a date and stuff like that, so you're supposed to know how to figure this out in one night that you know how to cook. So I mean, you got to go buy a house and see if you can cook.
No, I mean that's a good icebreaker first date question. Hi, do you know how to cook? What have you cooked?
What's your credit score?
Yeah, yeah. You don't ask credit on the first date. You ask after. I mean, then if you guys are
She
vibing,
can eat it.
if you're vibing
That's
on that level,
That's
then you
game.
can ask them what their credit score
That is
is.
game.
But credit score is important. You cannot move forward
So like,
in a
what's your
union
credit
if y'all
score?
don't have good credit.
800.
No.
Let
That shit
let me
ain't.
see.
brother.
Let
Nah.
me see.
In the
Let
bag,
me
brother.
see.
That ain't flying. None of that ain't flying. None of that ain't flying. Let me tell you why it ain't gonna fly. Cause she can either lie and say she can
Man.
cook, and then guess what? Next thing you know,
Guess what? There's an app for that. There's
what
an
the
app
app
for
gonna tell
that.
you? So the app gonna tell me she lying?
No, the app is gonna tell you.
No.
You're gonna tell her
No.
to pull up her app, and you can see her credit score. There's an app for
Well,
that.
That's crazy.
I ain't no credit score gonna tell you not she not a cook. Okay.
There's an app for that.
Okay. Well.
You can see the credit score.
Okay. Well. Faye, I just want to add one more question.
Ouch. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, all right. My next question is, I want to know,
Hello?
I'm empty out of question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm empty. But look, real shit though. I want to know, uh, what makes a woman,
Oh.
you know, so confident in herself?
What makes a woman so confident in herself?
Yeah. Let me make it more brief. A man should chase a woman, or a woman should chase a man. Which
About to
one?
start a whole another
Oh,
hour.
Yes.
it's Bando doing the heavy duty work, heavy duty questioning, answering the, asking the real questions.
You know, I cannot imagine chasing someone and like for me, the perfect scenario for me would be that, you know, we feel equal, right, about each other. I think that's most people's scenario, right?
Somebody sends
You know, but
ping, and the other
but I
person
think
reciprocates.
I think that, you know, if
Come out and be like,
just to cut it, just case, you should be able to talk about things like straight up, you know. You know, Monique has her way and it's the application. For me, it's just like getting down to business of like, you know, asking some very grounding questions, you know, and just being able to talk and develop your friendship right then and
I
there.
don't think like the way you're doing it is the way we're supposed to be doing it.
Well, that was a metaphor, like as far as the application. I'm not that.
I love it.
I'm not that hard. I'm just saying, you know, we all put in applications, so this is part
It
of the
is.
criteria on my app.
I love it.
But
I love it.
what is he doing? I'm sorry. This is just a huge distraction.
That's what up to. He is just
I forgot his
asking
question.
these
What did he ask you about confidence?
Who should come up to each other?
Oh, who should run after who? I don't think nobody should run after anybody. I think the feeling should be mutual. You both should be. If anybody's running, it should be both of you. You both should get that. Like if you're consistently calling somebody and they're not calling you, well, I can't even say that because that, you know, even when I've had situations like when I call you more than you call me, it shouldn't matter. The point is, are we talking?
What?
Why? But it's like, but when you call me, do I not answer? Like, well, I'm just one of those people. I don't feel that it matters who calls who. I get that. But if you're calling them,
you can use people's presence, you know, if they want to be with you, you know, or want to, you know, in this thing, because if you don't, I'll be like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Because then cut it to the chase. I'll waste your time, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, Bubba, yeah, screw all that chasing stuff, Bando. Come on now. Look at it.
Well, we know Christmas is coming up, but you know, a lot of, you know, Christmas presents and a lot of that trimming and sliding down.
I go
and
through
all
Halloween
that.
first, the ghost son of goblins.
We skipping that bullshit because we already got like that going on right now. But I'm gonna just say though, you know, I think I ain't got, you know, a lot of my questions and stuff. So look, I have one more question before we leave out there. My question is, and the question is for the men and, you know, grandpas out there. So like I said though, what I wanted to say, does anyone want to know what do women think about? What do women think about our lives, you know?
Their children.
What?
In reference to what? Yeah.
What did you say?
women think about a lot. Like, women, what's on their mind most of the time of the day?
Not about what y'all think about.
I don't know what I think about.
We're opposite. Hey, we're opposite regardless. I don't know. It just depends. That's kind of a hard question to ask because what I think about consistently is different from what everybody on this panel thinks about. Completely different. So, I don't know how to answer that. Ooh,
I'm just saying, like, is it, you know? But anyway, yeah.
What you think about?
Back to me.
Ouch.
I don't know. I don't think about nothing but, you know, be bando. That's it. Be bando all day, you know. That's it. But hey, like real stuff though. So if a man wants to, you know, approach a woman, what's the best way for a man to approach a woman saying that he likes her?
I have the answer for that. How about we talk about that the next show? I think that's a great segue to the next show. How should a man approach a woman? What is the right way to approach a woman? Thank you for that. Should a man even approach a woman? Are women approachable? Sometimes they look like they don't want to be bothered. Should you approach them when they're with their friends? Should you not approach them? Should you approach them when they're by themselves?
You know better than that. You know better than that shit. You know better not to approach a woman when they're with their friends. We already talked about shit.
It's 9:21. We can wrap the show up. I think great.
Okay, yeah, we can wrap.
Of what we were doing. As far as a girl versus woman. Thank you for sharing your story. Because I didn't really know all of that. Thank you for sharing, sharing that with us. And it really gives two completely different perspectives of how we grew up. But at the end of the day, we're both still, even though we had different upbringings, we're still strong, women. And I guess we can actually say that we didn't allow the things that we've gone through in our past to affect our present day and how we are with our children now. So I think that's amazing. And
yeah.
Yes. I guess I don't know if you're Bando. I'm not sure who you are. You look like you're confused Santa Claus because you're appearing during October and you're only supposed to come.
You got it too early, man.
In December.
What you got to think about is a drought and how the world is going right now. So
COVID has affected the North Pole.
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
I had to come through early because
he's leaving.
I know. Christmas is
we lost the co-host. Oh, he's gone. We done lost the co-host on that.
I know. I know Christmas is like gonna be in a lot of shame and shambles because a lot of stuff going on in the president debate.
Yeah.
So I'm not promised that
to have the Christmas cheer.
Yeah, because I know Christmas not promised this year.
No one's really focused on Christmas at the moment because of Halloween. And then we have Thanksgiving. So you're really not thought of until like November, like 20, 28, 29, 30, something like that. Really December 1st is when you start to come in. So you're too early, Santa. But since you're here, can you give us our closing remarks? Is Bando in there somewhere? Can you tell him to come out?
I want to say, ho, and bless your Christmas because I hope they have a Christmas in heaven after marriage. And I want to say I want to get 2 trailer parks and put them together and make them in a mansion,
He want to put 2 trailer parks together and make a mini mansion.
Okay, look.
Ooh, you sound like Otis.
Hey, I'm going to just say this, though.
The ducks quacking.
I'm gonna say right now, you can see me right now. Santa Claus is living real hard right now because of COVID. You know what I'm saying? My beard haven't been trimmed since last year because I couldn't come out. I had to put the mask over my face. See, my hair is like kind of.
Boy, you got on a lace wig. You got on a lace beard. You got a lace beard on, Santa. You lost all your hair too. Santa, you gotta wrap us up, Santa.
I'm stressing too, but anyway. It was a good topic for the night, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say every woman that's out there, I want to say that, no matter what you're going through, you know, go and grab the ones that made you who you are today. If you're going through tough time right now, your days is going to be real round the corner that you are going to have the best coming through your life. Because I'm going to say, you know, hard time is the best time. And when I mean about that, for tomorrow will make you be the best of the best who you are today. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, go, no matter how much life throws at you, somebody always loves you. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the person that made life hard for you, that person is always there to love you. So don't count them out yet. And you may not talk to them in a very long time. So go call them, give them a hug, say how you doing, how you been. Call your loved ones, your grandma, your uncle, your TT, your auntie, your mama, and everybody else that's out there, and tell them you love them. You would like to have some more of that good cookie, nice chocolate cookie, chocolate chips, cookies, all in the yum, you know. So won't you lay up there?
Seriously?
I know. Yeah. On that note, we're just gonna stop you, Santa. Y'all know how to follow us. We're here every Wednesday.
Santa Claus is a black man. Santa Claus is a black man.
But you can catch us on Facebook, WNIYW, and Instagram, WNIYW. Make sure you guys follow us on IG and like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel called What's New in Your World. And we have a Facebook group. It's a private group. Just ask to join. We're going to let you in. But it's What's New in Your World. And that is it. It's a wrap of the show. We're going to see you guys. Oh, dang, Bando, you came back. You asleep? We're going to see you guys next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Facebook Live, YouTube Live.
Oh,